Warriors, good morning. So your government is moving into crypto. Why not you? My name is Coach JB. I am the top health and mindset coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. I repeat the same things on a daily basis because what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And what you see within your current reality is just a bunch of accumulation of the patterns, addictions, behaviors from the past. And the beautiful thing about this is today, after this video, you can make a different decision to plant new seeds for a new future. So we're going to get right into it today. I'm the guy who says, don't believe a word I say. What I'm trying to do is teach a man or woman how to fish. If you give a man or woman a fish, they eat for a day. If you give them a fishing pole, they eat for a lifetime. As my boy William says, you teach them how to farm, they will feed a nation. And we have about 940 warriors now, worldwide, 10 different countries working together into the quantum financial system. Now, one thing that I'll share with you warriors is this is going to be a long journey. What I mean by that is most people are super impatient within our society. So what I believe is we're going into the biggest bull run in history. We're in the biggest bull run in history right now. People are making 5 times their money in the last year. But there's going to be a pullback, and the real growth is going to be in 2025. The opportunity we're in right now is the internet boom. People made a lot of money in the internet, and there was an internet bubble and crash. And then the people who stayed the course, stayed focused on fundamentals going into the third industrial revolution, became the richest people in the world. And that's why during the pandemic, as you look this way, the 634 richest people in the tech world in Silicon Valley became much richer as people became much poorer. Now I'm going to share with you the narrative that's happening right now behind the scenes. Your government is moving quickly towards CBDCs. Now they're going to say they're moving slowly, methodically, but remember the words that they mentioned around MIT. MIT started creating cryptography in 1996. Bitcoin came out in 2009. Since the collapse in 2008, 2009, more money's been printed since the inception of Bitcoin. You need to think about that for just a moment. Now you're in a debt-based society since 1971, a printing machine. Your government is handing out checks like it's water, helicopter money. You're in a low interest rate environment, and all the big money, we are all moving to stores of value. Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptocurrencies, gold, silver, stores of value. Warren Buffett closed out of most of his bank stocks, increased his position by 10% in Bank of America. And I feel why? Because it's with Ripple. That's my opinion. He's buying gold mines. So you can do what the elites are doing right now. So we're going to watch this first video right here. We're going to listen to this gentleman, Augustine, just the last bit of his presentation. Then we're going to listen to Jerome Powell, and I'm going to take you through the narrative of where I think we're heading. I'm going to continue to share with you guys. I believe XRP is going to be the bridge currency for the world. Just my opinion, not financial advice. I'm not just in XRP. I have a broad portfolio of cryptocurrencies that are fundamentally going to change the world. Here we go.
Ideas there that should be rescued, and that's why I like to speak, and many of us like to speak about public-private partnerships, where we bring together what central banks can put on the table. Nobody else can do that. And at the same time, we need to be able to exploit the innovation, the drive of the private sector. And I think that's the way we can have a modern, top-notch payment systems with the most security.
So basically what you're saying is that you're trying to out-Libra Libra. Or take all the coming from Silicon Valley and transplant them into central banking, as I said, making central bankers cool.
Okay, so that was really important what you just said. Out Libra. When Libra came out, Facebook with their Libra coin, the government got involved quickly and shut it down fast because they knew if he was able to launch Libra with Facebook, 2.4 billion people would have been on board. It would have been a new financial system. So that was the shots fired to the government to activate very, very quickly. Now they keep bringing up the keyword is public and private coming together. Think about the only company that met with the SEC every single month since its inception. Sorry, I keep hitting the desk. I think it's making noise. Since its inception, Ripple, XRP. They're only coming after Ripple, XRP, the SEC. Do you think it's a political narrative?
Jay, I'd like to ask you, Chairman Powell, sorry, I'm dealing with different forms of address and cultural expectations. I know in America, everyone uses titles. In Europe, they don't. So apologies if I cause offence to anyone watching by addressing you wrongly. But I'm curious, Chairman Powell, are you essentially trying to beat them at their own game? To what degree do you see things like Bitcoin or Libra representing financial stability threats that you're trying to get ahead of?
First, I spent 9 years here trying to get people to call me Jay, so please.
Okay, that's kind of being cool.
let me say, yeah, absolutely. Let me just take a step back and say that our work on CBDCs is not primarily motivated by the appearance on the scene of cryptocurrencies and stablecoins. It really is fundamentally, technology has made it possible for us to offer a new form of trusted money and that sovereign anchor that has been so important for economic development for a very long time. And we're looking carefully at whether to do that. So turning to your question.
You just said, listen to the words, Warriors. Very long time they've been thinking about this. Very long time.
Crypto assets, which we call them crypto assets, they're highly volatile, see Bitcoin, and therefore not really useful as a store of value, and they're not backed by anything. They're more of an asset for speculation. So they're also not particularly in use as a means of payment. It's more a speculative asset that's essentially a substitute for gold rather than.
He just said it. It's a substitute for gold. Bitcoin's the new gold, maybe Ethereum's the new silver, and XRP is the bridge currency.
And for the dollar. And I think with crypto assets, the public needs to understand the risks. The principal thing is there's the volatility. There's also the outsized energy requirement for mining, and the fact that they're not backed by anything, which I mentioned. Turning to stable coins, so to the extent a stable coin is backed by.
Interesting. It says it's not backed by anything, but our U.S. dollar is not backed by anything. It's not backed by anything. So he's saying the exact same thing about our Bitcoin as our U.S. dollar.
Sovereign currencies of leading nations, that's certainly an improvement over crypto assets, I would say. But nonetheless, where does the credibility come from? It comes from that sovereign currency that is the backstop. The thing is, existing sovereign currencies are issued with the benefit of the public in mind. The potentially fast and wide adoption of a global stablecoin, potentially a global currency governed only by the incentives of a private company, is something that will deserve and will receive the highest level of regulatory expectations. And is regulation where it needs to be on global stablecoins yet? It's not, but we're making progress. Nonetheless, stablecoins may have a role to play with appropriate regulation, but that role will not be to form the basis of a new global monetary system. Private stablecoins are not going to be an appropriate substitute for a sound monetary system based in central bank money.
Okay, so that's really important to me. I could be reading this wrong, comment down below. But what he's saying is stablecoins isn't going to be our sound money, but we may have the same monetary system in regards to sound money. Now, if I understand banking, right? So what he means by that is they're not going to replace the monetary system or the U.S. dollar, how it operates, but we are going to move to a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, okay, which will be your digital dollar, and then you'll need something to run it across the rails, which I'm going to show you, which I believe it's going to be XRP.
And I'll stop there.
Okay, so that's important. Okay, so you heard his narrative there. Then Janet Yellen, we know this. I've showed this a bunch of times, but I'm trying to get this into your subconscious mind. Yellen sounds the warning, extremely inefficient Bitcoin. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Monday warned that Bitcoin is extremely inefficient way to conduct a monetary transaction. She spoke that cryptocurrency price tumbled. This was back in February 22. You got ECB, Christine Lagarde, the European Union says that speculative Bitcoin needs global regulation. Okay. And then you come here to the white paper that came out yesterday. Now remember, I was reading this to you guys yesterday. So you have the public and private sector partnership. So the infrastructure supporting the existing financial system is vast and varied and not likely to be redundant anytime soon. Okay. CBDC technology cannot replace what we already have, which is why layered architecture model where new systems are built on top of existing infrastructures makes most sense. Do you remember what he just said? Jerome Powell just said exactly what XRP Ripple put in their white paper. Do you remember what he said? He said stablecoins will not replace the infrastructure. So they're having conversations behind the scenes. The infrastructure supporting the existing financial system in a vast and varied and not likely to be redundant anytime soon. CBDC technology cannot replace what we already have, which is why layered architecture model, where new systems are built on top of the existing infrastructure, makes the most sense. A neutral bridge currency. While interoperability will support the direct exchange of CBDCs in domestic transactions, many of the same old issues with cross-border transactions will remain, in particular supporting the immediate real-time foreign exchange as opposed to the current 3 to 5 day process will likely still require the need for pre-funded currencies. Like any commercial bank or global business, central banks will want to avoid the increased costs and risks associated with familiar liquidity issues. I've been telling you about banks in a liquidity crisis. They would also welcome the ability to free up capital that could be generated value elsewhere and skews the financial system in favor of the most liquid currencies, typically those most powerful nations. Now listen, I've been telling you the bank's issue is liquidity crisis, okay? If they don't free up capital and they don't have quick cross-border payments and the ability to serve their customers, they're going to get wrecked in the marketplace. So commercial banks are going to want to custody your cryptocurrency to fee you. The banks are having a liquidity issue. They need to move money at the speed of light because the more they can move money. But remember, Ripple solves the liquidity issue and the speed payment issue. They can also help the central banks run the money across with the stablecoin moving across the XRP, exchanging from euros to dollars to yen, okay? So they have the exact solve to the problem. That's why I'm so bullish on XRP, okay? Now I want to share this. This was, I want to give credit where credit is due. This gentleman at Martin CP Volk, check him out on Twitter. He's got a really cool account, by the way. He created this document, and this is largely based on the Death of Money by James Rickard. I'd highly recommend you look that up. This is really cool. He created this, so I did a little bit more research, and this is what he came up with, which makes sense to me, and I showed this to you guys before. The coming reset of the international monetary system. This dude knows his shit, man. This is really cool. Excuse my language. Gold realities and gold myths. So this is pretty cool. So he talked about gold, right? He talked about Bitcoin and gold being maybe this becomes the gold, becomes the Bitcoin, right? Then you have the SDR. SDR is your bags of currency. So look up SDR. That's where every year they meet and they reevaluate the bags of currencies, right? So here's what it would look like. You have your different countries and you have a central bank digital currency, exactly as Jerome Powell was saying, exactly what they're saying in the Ripple white paper. Isn't that weird? I mean, do you guys see that? Where what Jerome Powell is saying is what Ripple is saying exactly. Okay, so you have your United States, Eurozone, Japan, China, then they would all have their central bank digital currencies, okay? Then they would come up with their determination of fixed rates, and I went through that in my last video. But what would run all these currencies across this new digital, not SWIFT, SWIFT is how we're moving currencies through an archaic banking system. Ripple has the ability to be the bridge currency for all of these central bank digital currencies. Does that make sense? So I think a lot of people think that Ripple XRP would be the stable coin, but we would have a stable coin that would run across the bridge currency, which would be XRP Ripple, and that's what we're invested in, okay? So the money supply, initially the new system would operate without an expansion of global money supply. Any of the nations that wanted SDRs could buy them from banks or dealers, earn them in trade, acquire from the IMF, International Monetary Fund, in exchange for its own currency. Local currency delivered to the IMF in exchange for SDRs would be sterilized. Is that what it says? Sterilized, so the global money supply did not expand. Okay, so this is really, really neat. So you can check this out on his Twitter page at Martin CPVALK. He put a lot into this. This is really cool. So I want to share with you guys and end with this. This is awesome. This was a presentation that was presented to people around Ripple and XRP's future, okay? So this is from 20 to 25, and I've been telling you guys, before I even saw this, in 2025, that I felt like this is just going to be the mini bull run, in my opinion. And what I mean by that is real bank institutional adoption, government adoption, CBDCs is going to take till about 2025. So what you're investing in is a new infrastructure, just like the people investing in the internet, Hotmail, all these things back in the third industrial revolution. What you're investing in the fourth industrial revolution is new infrastructure of your monetary system. You get to be part of that, Warriors. Whether you put in $10, $100, $20, it's not financial advice, but you are investing in the new infrastructure, and this is the richest people in the world that did this in the third industrial revolution. So I'll continue to bring this slide up because I think it's so important. But this is what I feel like it's going to look like. That XRP Ledger is going to be the bridge currency that's going to move the money across all the central banks, creating cross-border payments. It goes right into the 2030 narrative and the 2050 narrative. The 2030 narrative of bringing people together, inclusiveness, right? Financial inclusion. Also the zero carbon narrative, right? XRP is one of the, moving towards one of the first cryptocurrencies that's zero carbon, very low energy, low transaction costs at the speed of light. So Warriors, I hope you see the narrative and how deep of the research I'm doing. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But I am somebody who is constantly studying and researching and trying to figure out what the Wizard of Oz is doing. Now I have Warriors all over the world, 930 Warriors, 10 different countries working together. Now, what do we do in our Warrior Academy? It's very different. It is everything from the mind, body, soul, and generational wealth building. So we have a cryptocurrency call every single Thursday, a technical analysis call on Friday, 2 leadership calls a week, a welcome warrior introduction call with me at 9:15 every single Saturday. You have access to my portfolio, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, just documenting my journey. You also have access to our insane exit strategy, because if you don't have an exit strategy, Warriors, you're not going to have the discipline to get out in time, and you're going to get wrecked in this marketplace, in this bull run. We also have a Discord with over 700 Warriors, and they're helping each other grow into the quantum financial system. And most important, we have a 120-day challenge where you learn discipline, goal setting, vision board creation, and subconscious mind programming to help you build the life you've always wanted. So down in the description down below, you can join our free Facebook group, or you can join the Private Warrior Academy and get started today. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. But as always, I'm just here to help. And I just want to let you know I love you very much, but damn well, don't let me love you more than you love yourself. Warriors, rise. Follow me on Instagram at CoachJV_. Let's go.